Good morning, everyone, and hope you're safe and healthy in this situation. And back again with me, and I think if you meet me, students, you know what kind of session it is. Yeah, there is some discussions. So today we're going to discuss about um, business in pandemic, and we have during the pandemic, and we are talking about sustainability. And here we're going to discuss with a very notable and experienced person. I would like to invite her, and I want to greet her first. Hello, Miss Paola.
Hello, everybody.
How are you
Very,
doing?
I'm doing very good, thank you. Excited to be
Mhm.
here and share some things with you all.
Okay, yeah. Thank you for coming here, Miss Cortese. Uh, she's going to be the lecturer of this session, and she will talk more about her experience in plastic bags. So before we start the lecture, I would like to introduce about her profile to you all. So Miss Paola Cortese is currently the Indonesian country manager for Plastic Bank. I think some of you have heard about this company on organization which focuses on um, developing Indonesians in tackling the problems of plastic pollutions and addressing issues of poverty. So she is the Indonesian country manager from January 2019 up to now. Previously, she works. She is the founder of Zero Waste Life HK. I think this is Hong Kong, and she works there from July 2016 to December 2018, and she was also the founder of Cortese Design Studio and art director for animation in various companies. So she's got so many experiences in sustainability issues and also in designs, which is quite interesting. And she's got 15 plus years of experience in building, running, and monetizing businesses focusing on the environment and circular economy. And she is very expert in practical terms for sustainability issues, especially in plastic pollutions, which is a problem that is very serious in Indonesia because we I think we rank the first in terms of the plastic pollution in the world. I think isn't that true, Miss Cortese?
The second, actually, after
Or the
China.
second? Okay, but it's still bad still. Yeah,
Very
number
bad.
two
Yeah.
for plastic pollution is still bad.
We don't want to get awarded for plastic pollution.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, although we are not the first one in carbon pollution, but we've got a bad record for the plastic pollution. And I think talking about this topic is very beneficial for you all and to increase your awareness about this issue. So, with a few the two, I think please, Miss Cortese, to have your lecture and discussions. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Pak Ahmad. And thank you, first of all, thank you for UGM and the IWEEK team that invite me again to this event. I'm very excited to share some of my experience and the knowledge that I have throughout the year of working in the sustainability field. Yes, I have quite a lot of, um, I conducted, well, I experienced different careers. I started in design as an art director for animation, producing, environmental stories for children. And then I become interested in interior design and created what I call the Cortese Design Studio, focusing on sustainable interior design. And then more and more got into more sustainability focused projects such as zero waste, and eventually that leads me to my role here in Plastic Bank, where I focus on circular economy, tackling the plastic issue, and improving the environment while alleviating poverty at the same time, using the technology. But I'll tell you more about it later during the lectures. Before that, I would like to start with the concept of that circular economy itself. So just give me a bit of time to present. Okay, all right. I'm just going to stop the video for a while I'm doing it. All right, guys. So circular economy in Indonesia. Before we start in the concept, definition, and whatnot, perhaps I would like to ask the students, what do you think when you see this picture? Anyone would like to contribute? Perhaps?
May I? May
Yeah,
I?
sure.
Okay, so I think that's one of the most polluted river in the Jakarta, if I'm not mistaken. It's from the report in 2018. So I think it was such a big deal back then, and because the river had been polluted, and a lot of people had, especially media around the globe, not only Indonesia, had been noticing that this river could pollute everyone around them, and especially the life below water in the river itself. So I think it's a polluted river with that doesn't support any lives around them. I think that's it.
Thank you, Chita. Thank you. That's a very good observation. Is there anyone else that would like to contribute, perhaps? What kind of feeling do you evoke when you see this picture? Or perhaps I can show another one there. Anyone would like to contribute? Any thoughts or feelings that emerge? Sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So yeah, for the first picture, I feel really disgust, and for this picture, I feel really sad actually, because the all of these things is like kind of being the part of the ocean, and it's really sad that like the animals which is living in there should like engage with these things.
Yeah, you're so right. Thank you, Carly. So do you know these are the pictures that depict some of the environmental consequences of an irresponsible use of plastics? You know, while plastic as a material has many valuable uses, we humans have become addicted to single-use or disposable plastic with severe environmental consequences. Just some data that I found. You know, around the world, 1 million plastic drinking bottles are purchased every minute. 5 trillion single-use plastic bags are used worldwide every year. 5 trillion. I can't even imagine that number. You know, in total, half of all plastic produced is designed to be used only once and then thrown away. Now, would it surprise you if I say that all of the plastic produced since approximately 100 years ago is still in the environment somewhere until now? And we don't know when it will fully dissolve. Some scientists would say in 500 years, so perhaps we have 400 years to go before it really goes back to nature, perhaps longer or never. So plastic waste is now so ubiquitous in the natural environment that scientists have even suggested that it could serve as a geological indicator of the Anthropocene era. So what is the Anthropocene era? It is a proposed geological epoch dating from the commencement of significant human impact on Earth's geology and ecosystem, including climate change. So this is the era of humans, is the Anthropocene. And the biggest indicator of the Anthropocene era is waste, and especially plastic waste. This realization makes plastic the trendy issue of our decade. But the issue is far wider to incorporate all types of waste created by us humans. So what is the origin of this waste and the concept that lies under the concept that lies and created this issue? So the seminal work on circular economy actually started in 1966 with Boulding's paper. He opens a discussion of a difference between the open and closed economic system, particularly in respect of three essential elements: material, energy, and information or knowledge. These three elements underpins our economy, which Boulding calls the econosphere. He draws the difference between cowboy and the spaceship economy. So what are cowboy economy? What are spaceship economy? The cowboy economy, according to Boulding, is akin to the illimitable plains. So it's an unlimited, based on unlimited resources and unlimited use. It is associated with reckless, exploitative, romantic, and violent behavior, which is the characteristic of our open societies. In contrast, he suggests a spaceship economy where the Earth has become a single spaceship with limited reservoir of everything. So there's a limit to extraction, there is a limit to use, and there is a limit to pollution or waste. And therefore, we humans must find our place in a cyclical ecological system, which is capable of continuous reproduction of material form, even though we cannot escape having input of energy, ideally from renewable energy, such as the sun. And then the concept developed further with Meadows et al. That claims that the unreformed cowboy economy could had an overshoot and collapse within a century. So that's not good. We don't want to overshoot and collapse our society. Okay, we don't want this Anthropocene era to end and become the end of us all, but we want it to continue and improve in a better way. And therefore, thought leaders such as Stahel has developed new ideas. One of them is written in a prize-winning essay in around 1982 that identified the extension of use life of goods. It is a sensible point at which to start a gradual transition towards a sustainable society in which progress is made consistent with world's finite resource base. Just to quote on him a little bit. Stahel called this a spiral loop system. It minimized matter, energy flow, and environment deterioration without restricting economic growth. So super idealist, right? What Stahel was describing is an early definition of circular economy without the term. So I just want to share how the ideas of the circular economy grow and evolve over time. So we start with our null hypothesis, or our business as usual. This is a system that is called the fast replacement system. So this system is a persistent trend in our economic history and has gained momentum in our society. A bigger, better, faster, exciting new products is is um, is considered as better. And economists has become preoccupied really with the production optimization and economies of scale, and therefore fast depreciation and fast replacements. The result is an economic of short life, incompatible goods and products that is much characterized by the lack of repairability. A fast replacement system means that to us, it also means that an ever increasing part of our income is devoted into the replacement of products instead of adding to our wealth. Growth can only be achieved in this system by shortening the design life of products and therefore speeding up replacement. Let me give you an example. How long does your smartphone last these days before you need to replace it? Well, not need, you want to replace it with a new model. 2 years, 3 years, more than that. Sometimes the software producer, Android or even iPhone, they don't support any more improvements, and in the end, you are compelled to replace them. Now, smartphone, just an example, is a very, very tough item to recycle. So what happened to it? It becomes waste. However, there are alternatives to our business as usual system, and that is what we called the slow replacement system. So this slow replacement system doubles the design life of products in manufacturing. For example, in a slow replacement system, we would design cars that are to last 20 instead of 10 years. It can be done by using, let's say, more durable materials, a better assembly method, periodic maintenance and repair, so that the method halves the amount of waste produced. But despite the improvement, an ever-increasing growth in economy, an ever-increasing growth of human population and our needs and wants means that our consumption rate only grows higher. So the result of both the fast and slow replacement system remains the same, which is the creation of waste. So this is the base concept of linear economy. Whether it's fast or slow, we still take, make, and dispose of things. This simple slogan means that this is the kind of economy that forms a straight line from mining or extraction of raw material to industrial process where we create and distribute goods, goes to the utilization of the goods by our human society, and after usage, dispose. The biggest indicator of a linear economy is the creation of waste. And this is the system that Meadows previously mentioned claims will overshoot and collapse within a century, unless something radical is done. Right. So a contrast of the linear economy is this alternative hypothesis called the self-replenishing system. This is the beginning of the circular economy system. The self-replenishing system creates an economy based on a spiral loop system that minimizes the matter, energy flow, and environmental deterioration without restricting any economic growth or social and technical process. So this is the utopia, the utopia system that he envisioned. There are several loops that we see here. Loop 1 is the reuse. Loop 2 is the repair. Loop 3 is the reconditioning, or utilizing used products or components as source of new ones. And loop 4 is recycling, or using scraps as locally available raw material. A society relying on this type of economy is building the existing wealth and applying economies to optimize the total lifespan of good and product. So all of our financial and resource management is now aimed at reducing the total long-term utilization cost. Now, the effectiveness of this spiral loop system is increasingly effective according to how small the loop is. So we need to go to the inner circle as much as we can. This means we should not recondition something that can be replaced. We do not recycle a product that can be reconditioned economically. It is best to always reuse, which is the first loop. So the idea of the spiral loop develops further into what we call the circular economy. First of all, I want to ask you something. Is this product life extension, is the system sound too good to be true? Yes? No? Do you think we can do this? Okay,
I think we can, but
Go ahead.
but yeah, I think we can, but it's a long way to go, and we need like teamwork of several elements like government, private sector, public sector, and we as individual.
Yeah, that is correct. That it is a long way to go, but the good news is the speed is increasing, right? It is possible because roughly, if you see here, 3/4 of all industrial energy consumption is associated with extraction or production of basic material, such as steel and cement for construction. Only about a quarter, or 25%, is used in the transformation of this raw material into finished goods, such as machines, items, or even buildings. In labor, it's the reverse. About 3 times as much is used in this transformation of material than it is required for the production of the material or the mining or extraction itself. So in the 1990s, Pierce and Turner finally defined the circular economy as such. They created a textbook an economic textbook that contrasts the circular or natural system with the linear or economic system. It distinguished between capital stocks and the flows from them, and go back to Boulding's paper to emphasize the importance of the laws of thermodynamics. Just to quote on their book just a little bit, Boulding's essay was pointing to the need to contemplate Earth as a closed economic system, one in which the economy and environment are not characterized by linear interlinkages, but by a circular relationship. Everything is an input to everything else. Now, the controversy of the circular model has always been recycling and using the environment as a waste sink. So Pierce and Turner thinks that recycling is a key component, and it is a major or dominant process that underlies the circularity. Some of the later authors found it problematic, as we will explore in the next session. But before we go there, again, I would like to ask you guys. We have traveled in time now from the 1960s to the 1990s. Over the 30 years of span of idea development, do you think now the circular economy idea take hold in our society? Anyone? Is a yes or no? What do you think?
It's a yes.
Yes?
I,
Maybe
I
the
think
other would like to.
I think it's I don't know, maybe a little bit of greenwashing, since a lot of companies, especially in Indonesia, had only just given like, oh, for example, this product it's green, but actually it's not. So actually it's not supporting to the circular economic. But I did know that they wanted to have like this circular economic background to their company, especially their organization. I think that's for my answer.
Okay. So one thing is a yes and one thing is a no, right? So the answer to that is unfortunately no. In the 1990s, and even with the wide use of the Pierce and Turner textbook at that time, there are further coverage of the topic under some other books like Eco Capital by Atkins et al. You may thought that the idea of circular economy was about to take off, but it didn't happen back then. The idea just went to sleep for close to 20 years. We didn't really use the term or the phrase circular economy, and it was out of mind intellectually. So actually, since 1990, there has been very little fundamental and conceptual development to the concept, although a number of authors have embellished it. That is until Ellen MacArthur shows up. So this lady, Dame Ellen MacArthur, is basically the flag bearer of the circular economy movement. She is an English sailor who in 2005 sets a world record for the fastest solo non-stop voyage around the world on her first attempt. Like, how is that even possible? I don't know. Amazing person. So 2005, she set a world record. 2010, she launched the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, which goal is to promote efforts aimed at reinventing our traditional linear model to a circular economy model. So she gathered a consortium of some of the best thought leaders in the economic world, and also incorporate strategic partners such as McKinsey consultancy firm to solidify the concept of circular economy. So the circular economy based on the Ellen MacArthur Foundation is a concept based on the principle of designing waste and pollution out while keeping the products and materials in use and regenerating the natural system available on Earth. In 2013, the Ellen MacArthur Foundation produces 3 publications. It's called the first one is called Towards Circular Economy, which contains the celebrated butterfly diagram. So this is really the core of the circular economy concept. In the butterfly diagram, a circular economy seeks to rebuild capital, whether this is financial, manufacture, whether it's human, social, or natural. A circular economy ensures enhanced flows of goods and services. The diagram really illustrates the continuous flow of technical and biological materials through what it called the value circle. Just like in the self-replenishing system, the innermost circle is the most efficient and preferable. The efficiency and the control decreases as the circle widens. So if you see in the diagram here, the right side of the diagram illustrates the technical side and it closes the loop of resources facilitated by circularity strategies such as reuse, refurbish, and recycling. Now, the left side of the butterfly diagram shows the biological cycle and the loops and cascades assuring the sustainable management of biological resources and creating renewable flows and stocks. To me, the easier way to interpret the diagram is this. The right side is the ideal process for producing anorganic goods such as books, smartphones, cars, etc. The left side is the ideal process of organic matter, things that we grow such as food and other natural elements that we use such as fire, chemicals, and etc. If you remember anything else from this lecture, it should be this. In circular economy, waste equals food. This is their slogan. If you remember just 5 minutes ago, in the linear economy, the slogan is take, make, and dispose, right? In a circular economy, is waste equals food. Now, it does not mean that we start eating waste. Okay, this is not what it means. It means that a waste in one process becomes an input to the next process in the circular economy. And this food or an input, when it becomes waste for the second process, becomes food or input again in the third process, and it goes on and on and on in a circle. So this term is first coined in a Cradle to Cradle book by William McDonough and Michael Braungart. And this is a book about remaking the way that we make things. If you had the chance, look it up. It's a very exciting one to read. Now, circular economists really love their R's. They think that everything good starts with an R. So the first R is actually recycling. This is what Pearce and Turners and a lot of authors think is a key element in circular economy from the start. And then the Japanese government start to use what they call a 3R initiatives, which is reduce, reuse, and recycle. And then the European Union join in their waste hierarchy directive. So the EU has 4 R's: reduce, reuse, recycle, and recover. And over time, the number of R's multiplied. So far, we found 10 R's. So recall that circular economy is still a somewhat new and evolving concept. So there is no global definition or global consensus on the concept itself. It's still very much evolving. Over here in the R's, you see in the increasing circularity and efficiency, at the topmost is refuse. I'm not gonna discuss all of this, but the most efficient is to refuse. For example, there is a movement in Indonesia called plastic bag diet, right? So we refuse plastic bag, and instead we choose to reduce instead or reuse instead by using a multi-use bag. Well, at the bottom is recycling and recover. This is where we process material to obtain the same or sometimes lower quality products, or we can also transform this material into energy in recovery. So these are some of the drivers of circular economy. The topmost is an increasingly external drivers. We need consistent policies, we need the right taxes, regulation, and towards the lower lines, it is increasingly internals. We need positive attitudes and culture to enhance circular economy. We need cost savings, we need competitiveness, pressure from shareholder, especially the consumers, to pressurize the businesses and other instances and organization to do better, right? We do this. We can discuss this later. But basically, we all of us have a vote where to put our money into. All of this is the drivers. We can also categorize this driver in clusters such as policy, health, environment protection, society, and product development. So there are many ways how we can categorize what are the drivers of circular economy. Perhaps you can take a look later in the presentation once it is distributed. Not only drivers, we also have barriers of circular economy. Again, at the topmost, it's external, while below, it's increasingly internal. Some of the barriers that we encounter is inconsistent policies. So before we need the right policies, and the barriers is there's inconsistency of policy. And then there is a lack of clear pricing signals. For example, eco products tends to be more expensive than regular products. So this is a very big barrier. And there is a lack of consumer demand for circular economy products. But this is changing though. We found that more than 60% of consumer now is ready to pay a little bit more to get a more sustainable products than a non-sustainable option. So the internal barriers is sometimes habitual, and the negative attitudes towards waste in general, maybe cultures that are not enhancing the speeding up of circular economy. So another way to look at the barriers is to cluster it by maybe sectors. It can be government, economic, technological issues, etc. Just an example of maybe the management issues. There used to be a lack of leadership on circular economy. Thankfully, now people like Ellen MacArthur and other thought leaders are really pushing the agenda forward, right? So in Indonesia itself, this is based on my observation so far. There are a lot of barriers to circular economy in general, and recycling sector in particular in Indonesia. Some of them is there is a lack of regulation and enforcement of this regulation. We can point out at some policies on waste, for example. But what exactly is the implementation of this regulation? I would say little to none from the government. And the driving force of the recycling sector is actually the informal communities, people that we call waste pickers and waste aggregators, pengepul, pemulung, and other informal sectors. We also face a barrier of there is this cultural misperception about waste in general. We think of waste as disgusting, But it's only disgusting when the organic and unorganic waste is combined together. If you separate the both, actually there is no smell, and it can be processed further in the recycling or composting system. Another barrier is, there's a lack of participation from the source, which is the household. People don't normally recycle at their homes, unlike in some Western society. And then we only have a nascent recycling technology. For example, there's only certain types of plastic that can be recycled. But if you ever buy multi-layers, such as Cheetos or anything that has silver inside, that cannot be recycled in Indonesia yet, at least not in industrial scale. The next barrier is low demand for recycled product. Again, recycled products are often more expensive than normal products, and so only certain number of people can actually access these products. There are many more, of course, but these are the main barriers that I observe myself in the industry. And yet there are many, there's such big opportunities for the creation of circular economy in Indonesia. And these, in 2019, we have, 5 focus sector that roughly accounts for 33% of our GDP and employ over 43 million people. So these are the big sectors in Indonesia. However, the current practices of this sector are inefficient, and they generate a large amount of waste. So these are the charts, just kind of illustrate the kind of waste generated by these industries. But when there is a big issue, actually there's a big opportunity to change. Under this business as usual approach, the waste generated by these 5 key sectors could increase up to 82% in 2030s. So we don't want that to happen. We want to improve the system, right? And these are some of the ways that we can do that. These are sector-specific opportunities that we select based on circularity potential of the R's. There are opportunities in each of the sectors, whether it's F&B, textile, construction, wholesale and retail trades, electronics and equipment, that can be developed further into initiatives, businesses that will bring us closer towards a true circular economy. And this is kind of like a forecast of the waste that can be decreased and recycled due to circular economy in 2030. So it's not perfect yet. We still have a way to go. But if we incorporate the circular economy, we can significantly decrease waste generation at source and even recycling waste. A news article from Jakarta Post claims that circular economy may add up to $45 billion to Indonesia's GDP by 2030. So a lot of opportunities to grab there. You have a business idea, guys, make it circular, please. So that was the end of the second session. Perhaps if you have question and answer, perhaps just write it down for now because I would really love to share with you some of the circular economy initiatives that I found in Indonesia. You know, the list is not comprehensive, um, and you will know why in the end. But these are some of the exciting projects that I found. Okay, the first one is called an eco block. So these are construction blocks made of plastics, waste plastics, and there's already a school that's being built in Lombok from this material. It's called the School of Hope. What a nice name. This is still kind of like a conceptual. So normally the factories that produces eco bricks would only get around 1-2 tons of material per month that they transform into these blocks. And it's a good start, but what we need is really an industrial scale facility that can produce 100 tons, 1,000 tons or more of plastic waste per month. But it's a good start. There is hope, just like the school thing. This is another initiative that I found. It's called Cyclus. So they are in the inner loop of the circular economy system. So they are focusing on reducing and reusing materials and replenishing what we have used. So these are kind of like the refill station. So you can buy soaps or dishwashing liquids, oil, instead of buying in the supermarkets. And why this is better is because then the consumer only pays for the value of the goods itself. You know, if you go to a shop or if you go to the supermarket, any kind of supermarket, do you know that you're not only paying for the goods? Like, for example, you want to buy a bimoli oil. You don't just pay for bimoli oil. You pay a premium for the packaging, which is normally made with virgin plastic. So in terms of Coca-Cola, for example, you know, there is no definitive percentage of price, but you know, just maybe the gossip that I heard from insider, the price of the Coca-Cola liquid itself is only 10% of what we pay. The rest is paying for the packaging and their production cost, and of course the brand. You know, this is also why we pay a premium for luxury goods, like maybe, I don't know, like a Louis Vuitton bag, for example, that can cost thousands of dollars instead of a locally made bags that may cost only a few million rupiah. So it's really an unfair advantage of the business, and it's also unfair. It's definitely unfair to the consumer to be paying much more for the packaging that is unsustainable than just the product itself. So we recognize businesses needs to make profit. You know, even in plastic bank, although we are a social enterprise, we need to make profit. Um, but how much of this percentage, you know, that, you know, it can be improved really. So another initiative that I found is called Pulau Plastic. Perhaps you've heard of it. This is like the newest documentary in Indonesia that defines, you know, the journey of plastic in Indonesia. There is also an e-commerce called Zero Waste Indonesia that you can just go there. I think they're also in Tokopedia. And it made it easy to buy sustainable product because it's all kind of like gathered together in an online supermarket, basically. And there is Plastic Bank. So Plastic Bank, if I may share a little bit, is a social enterprise. We are a full profit business with a goal to stop ocean plastic. So we aim to delivering not just environmental, but also social and economic impact in our business. Um, our business is done via 4 pillars. The first one is we build recycling ecosystem by incentivizing collection. So that means if you collect plastic and exchange it in a plastic bank branch, you will get a premium for it. If the market price of the plastic is, let's say, 3,000 rupiah per kilo, we give you 1,000 rupiah more. So now you have 4,000 rupiah per kilogram of plastic, just as an example. These incentives can be financial, but it can also be, free health insurance, free BPJS Kesehatan, for example, free social security, BPJS Ketenagakerjaan, and work accident insurance. It can be free rice, it can be free or 50% smartphone, etc., etc. We incentivize good behavior, basically. And we feel that the more the community is incentivized in the right way, the more plastic that they will collect from their environment and the community, and therefore prevent those plastic to reach the ocean. So that is the first pillar. The second pillar of Plastic Bank is our Alchemy platform. It is a blockchain-based digital ledger in the face of an app that monetizes the value chain. Because it's blockchains, then it is fully traceable, it is fully transparent, and it is scalable. It builds trust between the plastic bank, our client, which is multinational clients, and our community, which is the plastic bank members and partners. So once you collect and input the transaction of your plastic collected in the platform, then it will get transferred towards what we call our processor partner. So these are factories that transform the plastic collected into flakes and pellets. After it is transformed, the plastic has now reached the end of the journey, and we call them social plastic. Social plastic is Plastic Bank's branded plastic, and we like to call it social because we want to acknowledge the social and economic impact in addition to the environmental impact that is created by the collection and creation of this plastic. And then we introduced the pellets as a raw material for global manufacturing supply chain. It means that once the processor turns the bottles of our bags into pellets, we buy them back and then we forward it to our clients. For example, SC Johnson. Now, in this fourth pillar on the rightmost, we partner with global brands to create kind of like an authentic narrative. I think one of you mentioned greenwashing, and honestly, nowadays the brands are very, very aware of greenwashing, and they strive really hard not to be seen as a greenwasher. So they are increasingly looking for an authentic narrative, and that is what Plastic Bank is able to provide them. They know exactly where the material comes from, who collected it, when it was collected, how it was collected, what kind of material it is, and who processed it, etc., etc. The brands understand that with the Plastic Bank ecosystem, there is no child labor, there is no forced labor, and instead, whoever touches this plastic, their lives improved. And that is really our goal in the business. So what Plastic Bank does, we don't collect the plastic ourselves, right? We don't have the locations to to aggregate this waste. What we have is a platform that can partner with a lot of people, a lot of stakeholders to create an organized ecosystem. So maybe this is similar to what Gojek is doing and the Ojek driver. So we have collectors that becomes our partner and use our system when they are collecting their waste. We partner with junkyards, we partner with waste banks, we partner with communities such as schools, faith locations, businesses, offices, households, you name it. All of them can use our platform to start collecting recyclable material. And it's not just plastic. You can collect papers, you can collect cans, you can collect any type of material and input it in the application basically. And this is how we also gamify and determine how best to incentivize each communities to collect even more. Again, the goal is we want to prevent any waste or especially any plastic to reach the ocean at all, right? In Indonesia, Plastic Bank operates in 13 provinces now after a young 2.5 years of operation only. So very proud of my team for scaling up this fast. And in around 2 years, this is our impact already. So it's just to emphasize, guys, like this is the solution that I know best because I work here, right? And the right kind of solution, like Plastic Bank, that incorporates not just one but multiple sectors. You know, we are really at the convergence of the recycling industry, the finance industry, the technology industry, and with the right mix, in 2 years, we have managed to collect an equivalent of 540 million plastic bottles that is now prevented from reaching the ocean. That is 10.8 million kilograms of ocean-bound plastic collected. And our members' incomes increased up to 30%. So far, we have reached around 58,000 lives that we directly and indirectly improved. And have more than 15,000 registered collectors under our system. So just to share some of the impact of a true solution in circular economy. On the left side, we have Pak Budiono. He is a father, provider, and also a plastic bank collector. He's 64 years old, live with his family in the Kuta bypass of Ngurah Rai, Bali. He has wife, a daughter, and 5 sons. So Pak Budiono lost his job when the pandemic hit. He wasn't able to provide for his family. He found out about Plastic Bank and began collecting plastic and exchanging it for bonuses, for rice, to provide for his family. On the right side, there is Ibu Wati. I have the privilege of meeting Ibu Wati herself. She's an extraordinary woman, a mother, grandmother. She's a provider of her family, a collector of plastic bank too. She works in a market in Plawa, Denpasar, Bali. She lives with her daughter and her family, and she has 2 grandchildren still in junior and senior high school. Ibu Wati is a daily laborer in the market. So that means she carries a lot of heavy stuff, but every day. But as she gets older, it's the job is getting tougher for her, and she is now not able to make enough money to contribute to her family. Plastic Bank give her the opportunity to earn more, so she can afford her medical treatment and help to pay her grandchildren's school fees. These are just kind of like two of the example, but there are really many, many more. So there are, of course, other solutions out there, and we're gonna have fun at the end of the session in brainstorming about it. Okay. So perhaps to conclude the presentation, I would like to share how each of us can contribute towards the circular economy. So these are some people. There are well known, whether nationally or globally. On the top left, you see Bea Johnson. She is kind of the mother of the zero waste movement. She has a book called Zero Waste Home about her journey in reducing her waste at home. And she also becomes my inspiration for my own journey. There is Greta Thunberg, of course, who's very vocal in pushing the agenda of the environment globally. She's everywhere. She was in Davos. She was in every kind of event that you can imagine. Over here on the bottom, we have Melissa and Melati Wiesen from Bali. So they are the founder of the movement Bye Bye Plastic Bag, and now they are both they won a lot of awards, not just in Indonesia but also globally. Recently, I know that they are in the Cannes trying to advocate for circular economy there. They are in a World Economy Forum. They're recognized as one of the thought leaders in the industry, despite the young ages. On the right side, we have Tiza, the founder of the plastic bag diet in Indonesia, one of the thought leaders also in Indonesia, also featured in the Pulau Plastic documentary. And below we have Gede Robi, who also is the proponent of the documentary Pulau Plastic. So a lot of inspiration, both from global and in Indonesia itself. I played a part, a small part, perhaps. I used to live in Hong Kong, and that's where I first discovered this concept of zero waste. So I thought if Bea Johnson can do it in LA, other girls can do it in New York, I should be able to do it in Hong Kong. And what you see here, that jar, was actually my waste in 2017. So it is possible that with a personal effort, and not many really, that I can reduce my waste, my annual waste, to less than 500 grams only. All of the waste that I produce at my home within that 1 year span can be fitted into a single jar. And apparently my friends start to know about what I'm doing, and then friend of a friend, and before long, the media took notice, some businesses took notice. So I started this journey on just sharing about what is the zero waste movement, what is circular economy, in many parts of Hong Kong and beyond. So I would, including this one, right? Just sharing the knowledge of what I found out so far about the zero waste and circular economy movement in general. So how to contribute? It's really simple. Circular economy starts with you. It starts with you refusing the plastic bags and other single-use items. It starts with reducing the number of items that you buy over perhaps more quality ones. It starts with reusing the products that we have for a very, very long time. And if there is still waste in your life, in your home, in your in the university, you know, start with sorting them and making sure there is a connection to a reliable recycling industry. Over time, when you start to get interested in this concept, you may find a particular sector that you want to be involved with. For me, plastic issue is very, very interesting to me. So I joined Plastic Bank so I can create more impact than when I was alone in Hong Kong trying to advocate for zero waste and circular economy alone. In Plastic Bank, I have a great team behind me and a support from the headquarter team. And together we create real impact as you see from the pages earlier. Okay, so I think this is where I'm going to end my presentation. It was quite long, and thank you so much for your time and listening to it. I would like to open a discussion about the material now. So really, if you guys have any question or any comment, it's okay. Please contribute and engage towards our discussion. You can agree with it, you can disagree with it. That is also fine. It is part of the journey to discuss and debate. Okay, so go ahead, guys. If there's any question or any comments, feel free.
May I?
Feel free to contribute.
May I, Paula? So, what do you think about the medical waste? As you know, due to the pandemic of COVID-19, there is a lot of medical waste like the personal protective equipment, which is using by the doctors and also medical cares. And yeah, what do you think about it? And is it a part of the circular economy? And do plastic banks help to deal with it? Maybe, I don't know, it's not in Indonesia, but outside Indonesia, if you have experience, you may share it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kathleen. So on the medical waste, well, there are several types of waste, right? There's the chemicals, the drugs waste, etc., which is considered a hazardous waste. So there's a very specific sector where it goes to. And yes, it is possible to recycle it in Indonesia. At the moment, Plastic Bank, the way that we work is we build a supply chain for every single material. And we, over these 2 years, we start with the non-hazardous first, the easier first, right? The plastic bottles and the caps and whatnot. So we have not contributed towards the medical waste sector yet. But in COVID-19 pandemic season or year, the way that we contribute is we provide access and understanding and knowledge to our members that you can access these medical facilities no matter where you are, whether you have insurances or not. And that's also why we give free health insurance. We actually register hundreds and hundreds of our members now in BPJS Kesehatan, so they can have the benefit now and even later, even after the pandemic. So that's how we contribute. But yes, there are ways to recycle both the chemicals, the packaging, etc. It is inefficient though. that's the thing about recycling industry and perhaps a lot of industries in Indonesia. So there's a lot of room for improvement.
I see
Okay.
this framework. Thank you.
Thank you, Carlin, for the question. So I see some raised hand. Perhaps we can start with Alexandra Isabel.
Okay, thank you, Paula, for the opportunity, and also thank you for the knowledge and the presentation. I want to ask regarding, right now there's a culture of people buying coffee with like a plastic packaging. Also, the hype of GoFood or GrabFood, especially during this pandemic where everyone have to take away their food. So there are a lot of plastic use and plastic waste. And I'm currently like is very concerned regarding coffee like Starbucks, Janji Jiwa, or such things that use a lot of plastic. What do you think we can do to reduce the plastic waste or like helping the movement of reducing the plastic? Because it's really concerning, and I do think that it's really dangerous if we keep on using that. Thank you, Paula.
Yeah, thank you for your question, Alexandra. It's a very good observation. Yes, in my experience back in Hong Kong when I was reducing my household waste, the what do you call it? The food delivery is a big issue. Okay, and not only does it spew carbon to the environment with all of those deliveries, but also the packaging, right? Sometimes they would package it in plastic, which is actually better. Some plastic are better than the others, right? In Bali, for example, when you order GoFood, sometimes it comes in a styrofoam boxes. So that's an issue because there's not a lot of recycling opportunities for styrofoam in Indonesia. If in a coffee cups, for example, like Janji Jiwa or Starbucks, where they provide kind of like it's a PP cup, we call it. PP is actually quite recyclables. So as long as it's directed towards the right recycling ecosystem, it's kind of okay. Okay. So the better way to do it is to refuse the plastic altogether. Just bring your tumbler to Starbucks and you get a discount out of it and you avoid plastic. Now, I realize, I'm working in recycling industry, and I'm saying that recycling really treats the symptoms of circular economy. It is necessary for now, but I would encourage all of you to move forward. Actually, if you buy coffee and then it's in the plastic, as long as you rinse it, you sort it, you put it in a recycling bin, or make sure that, it goes to a recycler. It is still closing the loop. But just the fact that we are using a material that can last for hundreds of years, and we use it for less than a minute and sometimes less than 10 seconds, and then we dispose it or even recycle it, is the issue. So yeah, recycling is possible, and in coffee situation, even the coffee can be composted. I've composted coffee before, but still, it is not. It's necessary, but it's not ideal. Okay. I hope that answers your question.
Okay, thank you, Paula.
Yeah, Alexandra, may I ask you to maybe lower your hand?
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. The next one that I see is Chita Amalia. Would you like to ask something or perhaps give a comment?
Okay, so maybe I would like to ask some things because you mentioned about how the food waste is really huge waste in Indonesia itself. So, and currently my parents are running a catering business, so I think it's a major problem here. I'm really curious about how you make a circular economy with food waste, since we know that there's a problem with Indonesia $1 million catering or party industry, with a lot of people in Indonesia having an extensive wedding with a lot of food, but at the end they were put up as waste. So how could we tackle this problem?
No, that's a very great question. I have this experience of conducting zero waste events, including zero waste dinners. Okay, so the way that it was done was I had like a bunch of bags, reusable bags, or sometimes silicone-based containers. It's watertight. And I would go to the market, or maybe your parents can go to their suppliers and say like, okay, we would like to source food from you, but please put it here. Don't use plastic. It takes quite some time to negotiate those things, especially if the business is big, right? It involves many suppliers. But at the core, it's really about refusing the packaging as much as you can. Of course, like for example, if you want to source seafood, you can't really control how the seafood was shipped towards your community or your area to your supplier, but you can stop the cycle, the linear cycle there, and just refuse the plastic itself. So the first thing to do is to procure things as much as possible without packaging, or if there's any packaging, make sure that it's recyclable. The second is to make a more precise measure of what kind of the amount of food that you need to produce for an event or a person, right? And third is, after the take and use, then you need to design how are you going to dispose it, or make the waste to become food for other process, right? How to turn the linear into circular. And the way to do it is to make sure that there is an access towards the next process, whether it's a composting process or recycling process. Does that answer your question, or
Yes, that's really answered my question. Thank you, thank you so much, Paula.
Yeah, and it's possible. I've made zero waste dinners, zero waste parties. Where people do have fun. They can eat, they can drink. It's like it's a normal gathering, only without waste. There are ways to do it, and nowadays information is a Google search away. Okay. Wilma, do you have any comments or questions?
Okay, thank you, Paula. So you mentioned that one of the barriers about waste management is different perspective about waste, and I found that there are some people who just don't care. Not me, of course. In that case, how are you dealing with that, knowing that your organization is also make profits from those particular participation? And do you know how to make people more aware and eager to contribute and make our world greener? Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Wilma. That's a very good question, and it is true. Even though that we start to hear oh, go green and go eco, some people just don't care, and therefore we need to have different tactics for different communities, right? Let's put it bluntly. In Indonesia, a lot of people are still don't know where their next income or their next meal is going to come. There's a lot of people still in living a life below the poverty lines here, and especially for these people, if your stomach is not full yet, how can you think more for the future? It doesn't make sense, and it's unfair actually to ask them to. Why should they care about the environment when they are not secure themselves? You know, and the way to go about it for plastic bank is to provide them with the incentives. We don't talk about well, we do talk about how um, the environment per se, like the hook. When we first encounter these people, we say, hey, do you know if you collect those plastic, you can come to us and we can give you some money for it. We can increase your income. And they're like, oh, I get some money by just collecting some waste. Are you kidding me? So that's the first hook. And then there's this cultural negativity about waste picker. We see them as dirty. They are often quite marginalized, like the lowest of the lowest in the society. And what we do is we start to boost their confidence and say, like, no, you are the hero of our environment. You are the hero of our community by collecting this waste. And even and we appreciate you so much that we want you to collect more, and therefore we will incentivize you to do it. You can feel safe when you're sick because we're giving you medical insurance. You don't have to worry to go out there because if you have well, not to say we want if there's anything that happened, if there's any accident, there's the BPJS, and we start to including them into the formal economy that way. Well, the term is banking the unbankable, right? And yeah, you are right. So these are some of the tactics that needs to be deployed as a hook towards people that maybe didn't care before. There are others. For example, school ecosystem. We partner with some schools. Unfortunately, it's closed now. But before, we gathered the parents and the students and the teachers to create this new habit of collecting and recycling waste. So the family is responsible on collecting just their waste in their home, and then once per week they will have like a house chore, like the students, the child will bring some of this plastic. We don't allow anything too heavy, or it's more of a behavior change, right? It's not about actually collecting the plastic, just getting used to it. So they would bring like one bag of plastic, usually like 500 gram, 1 kilogram only, to school, and then they drop it in a certain location, and then one of plastic bank partners will pick it up and to be recycled. And it becomes something fun because then we provide them with some knowledge, we engage them in discussions, and hopefully we will contribute to creating a new generation where recycling is the norm. Like in the last decade, smoking was fine, but nowadays we see people are getting more and more hesitant, I guess, because it's not seen as culturally normal anymore, or people used to throw away waste everywhere, and now they know that they need to do it in a bin, at least, or at least most people does, and it grows from there. So yeah, hopefully that answer your question. I see Dia. Would you like to ask or comment on something?
Thank you, Paola.
Yeah. Thank you. Dia, are you?
Yes. Thank you for the opportunity, Ms. Paula. I would like to ask about actually quite some companies now are starting to become more sustainable due to the demand of the market itself, even to the extent of like branching or segmenting into new products which cater to the sustainable market. However, I wonder, why did some company channel their sustainable efforts into making a new product which is branded as sustainable rather than implementing it to all of their existing product to make their whole company sustainable? I want to ask, what's your view on this matter?
I mean, from the company's perspective, creating a new product it becomes kind of like an alternate hypothesis to what's existing, right? So they have their regular product, they have their new product, and they want to see which one is more popular. And hopefully the result is the eco-friendlier one are the more popular, so they start to phase out these products, and it happens many times. Just one example that I encounter in Plastic Bank, our partner S.C. Johnson was trying out this new packaging from social plastic for one of their brand, Windex. So they created kind of like a new version of Windex while still keeping the old one. And although I cannot say the details, but I think it's safe to say that their sales have improved by introducing an eco-friendly or like a greener version of their old products. And they have renewed their partnership with us multiple times now, and they want to use social plastic for many numbers of their brands. So they are significantly reducing their production of material via virgin plastic, so less material extracted from the earth, less oil extracted from the earth, and instead using recycled plastic in the end. So at the end of the day, there need to be financial incentives for the business. That's why a business is created, right? But more and more, they see their bottom line not just as a profit, but also the impact that they can create for the people and the planet. We call it the 3P, the profit, people, and planet. And nowadays, this is getting more, mainstream in the business, in any kind of business. Really, it's considered a shame now not to have anything equal, which is a good thing. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for your answer.
And Rafter Yang.
Okay, thank you, Paola, for the opportunity.
Yeah.
And thank you for the presentation. It's really inspired me. However, I have to ask for the example that you gave for the liquid or the Coke that you can get without the packaging. I think their main focus is the price, because the buyer can get it with a cheaper price. However, for them who can afford it, I think they might think about the quality. They might ask where do they the seller get those products come from, or is it really good? So I want to know the perspective of yours. How do the sellers solve this problem, or how do we change those buyers who think the quality more over the environment and price? Thank you.
Thank you, Rafter. That's a very good observation. Yes, it is true. Like in a zero waste shops like Cyclus or other zero waste shops, the prevailing system is refill, right? And in a refill system, there may be a potential for contaminants, and these are of course one of the barrier of going into circular economy, right? But it is being improved all the time. Just one initiative that I know, it comes from TerraCycle in US, and they have a new business model called Loop. So Loop from TerraCycle works with many brands, including Haagen-Dazs, and many others really. And they produce a new kind of packaging for these brands. So when you're in the loop ecosystem, unfortunately, it's still in US and some other countries, it hasn't entered Indonesia yet. You can get Haagen-Dazs ice cream packaged in reusable metal. So this packaging keeps it cold as it needs to be because it's ice cream. And it is reusable and it's returnable. So in the loop ecosystem, you choose a certain products that you want. I think nowadays mostly it's online, or there are supermarkets with loop products in it. And then it gets delivered to your home, and then you use the product, and then when you buy another one, it gets switched. So before, I'm not sure if you guys experience, when I was a kid, when my family buys milk, it comes in a milk bottle, in a glass bottle. And then we would put it outside of the house. And when the milkman comes the next day, he will switch the milk packaging, the glass packaging. And that's kind of like how it's done. And then of course the bottle get disinfected and cleaned in a proper way before it is reused again to make sure there's no contaminants in it. So to answer to your question, yes, there needs to be a professional way of doing this zero waste shopping experience. And I think one of the competitive advantage of the Loop initiative is they have a specific way of recleaning their packaging, so it is secure for the refill of other products, and then it is also like closed. It's all very professional. So yeah, that would be my answer. We need to have an improvement of the business process itself. Okay, all right. So
Thank you, Paula.
yeah, thank you, Rafter. Clarissa, would you like to ask or comment on something?
Hi, Paula. Thank you for the opportunity and the great presentation. So nowadays, more and more people and firms are becoming more aware of the bad environmental effect that their businesses have, and some of them wants to shift towards circular economy. So my question is, what are the first few steps that a company can do to implement the circular economy, since it's kind of a relatively new concept? Thank you.
Okay, yeah, so thank you for that. Well, it really depends on what kind of company, right? Maybe going back to Plastic Bank, we offered 3 types of solutions for the businesses that partner with us. The easiest is called impact program. So this is where we calculate the environmental impact of a company, and then we calculate an equivalent, a financial equivalent of it. So 1 ton of environmental impact means X dollars, and the company may contribute to what we call the social plastic collection credit, and these are the fund that gets redistributed to the community. So when we pay, the collectors incentives, whether it's the bonuses, it's the health insurance, we pay it from the SPCC fund. So the first thing that the business can do is to contribute towards this type of offsetting scheme. If the business produces goods with plastic, then we of course give them the social plastic option, where they can switch from virgin plastic material to social plastic and create their packaging or their products out of recycled plastic instead of the virgin plastic. That is one solution. And for a company that wants to do this for a very long time. They want to make sure that they can keep recycling. They have the raw materials. They have the right ecosystem to support this recycling, this a new production line with recycling material. We offer them the ecosystem activation. So basically, in an ecosystem activation, a brand can pinpoint to a location, or they can set a certain amount. Let's say I want to make sure that I receive 100 tons per month of recycled plastic of this specific type. And then we in the country team will source that plastic. We will activate locations that collected a certain volume of that particular plastic that the business needs. So that is called ecosystem activation. So we secure their supply chain, and by securing the supply chain for the business, we also give a regular income for the members that enters this ecosystem. So it's really a win-win-win solution for our client, Plastic Bank, and our members. So that's just an example of how a partnership can be done between a business and a circular economy initiative, and how a business can start to change their ways from linear to circular. So I hope that answered your question, Clarissa.
Yeah, thank
And
you.
and wow, it's been a pleasure. Yeah, it's. I was quite worried whether there will be like a lot of engagement, and I'm so glad that you guys asked a lot of questions. Otherwise, I don't know what I would do. And yeah, thank you so much, guys, for the questions. Now on just the last segment of the day, I would like let's go into focus groups. So perhaps if Zara or the IWEEK team can help me out here. We each group will have a task to research and present a circular economy solution of your choice. So you will have 10 minutes to discuss within your groups and to produce one or two pages of a slide. Perhaps you can open like a Google slide or a PowerPoint and work together, and kind of pick and choose one solution that you think is that you'd like to highlight, and then you get to share it with everyone and me on who, what, where, when, why, and how that solution contributes to the circular economy. One catch: it need to be a different solution or from what was presented on this slide. You cannot copy. Okay, and then either one of you or as a group, you may present maybe for 2 minutes or 3 minutes maximum on the solution of your choice, and the best presentation will get a gift. Okay, I will tell you. The gift is actually the Plastic Bank tote bags. I will show it to you later. Apparently it's not here. The Plastic Bank tote bags and the Plastic Bank T-shirt. So I will send it to you guys. It looks like this. It's really nice. Wait, let me turn off the virtual. I think you can see it there. It has saved the ocean from plastic. No, cannot. Yeah, something like this. Yeah, and there's also a T-shirt that says the same: save the ocean from plastic. So okay, for the IWEEK team, can you help me out here? Can we go into breakout room for 10 minutes, please?
Yeah, sure. I think the breakout room is already available.
Okay. So
perhaps we can start from now. That students can go to their breakout rooms. Yeah, we
see you
started
guys
doing
in 10 minutes.
it. Mm-hmm. I think you can pick random numbers instead of going in orderly from 1 to 7. We've got 7 groups, right? You can
All
pick
right.
it randomly because we usually pick it in order from 1 to 7, but I think it's better if we have a different system today.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's more fun, right? So, okay. Group number 4. Please take it away. And remember, because we don't have a lot of time, so you have 2 minutes maximum. Okay. I will stop sharing my screen so you guys can share. Go ahead. Group number 4.
Ma'am, I'd like to apologize first. I don't know if we had enough time to make the slides just yet, but we did already discuss some of our findings. So maybe I can start, and maybe my friends can add to it so that we can save time. But anyways, so the solutions that we find to be we think could work for our circular economy is using biodegradable products, such as the use of new plastics coming from cassava, or biodegradable cutlery. We find an interesting one, which was made in India. It's called Bakis, if I'm not mistaken. So basically, what it does, it's trying to reduce the amount of thrown out plastic cutlery that is used each year, because in India apparently there's around 120 billion pieces that gets thrown out. So the solution they're trying to use is making these cutleries that is easily thrown out by people into something that they could eat, and instead turn it into something biodegradable, so that in a sense that it would make it better for the environment, since it's not going to be something that going to take a greater toll on the environment itself. So I think maybe my fellows can add to that.
Okay, so we found that a lot of organic waste that can be biodegradable products, such as what Arif said, that cassava and maybe egg waste and shrimp waste, and any other products that we use in our kitchen. So and it as one of the participants said, that food waste is also a problem. So that one of the solutions that we can think is to make biodegradable products from that waste. I'm sorry that we haven't we haven't much time to put it into the presentation, so we present it by ourselves.
No worries. Thank you for your input. So biodegradable product can be a move to a circular economy. Thank you, Group 4. Now, Group 2, would you like to showcase your presentation?
Okay. I'm sorry. I think my camera is kind of having an error, but for our ideas, it would be, we're going towards fast fashion. The amount of waste that fast fashion have made could also be made into more sustainable approach. We're going towards recycling clothes, making new clothes out of used clothes. However, due to the time limitation, we're unable to create like a more comprehensive process, but our ideas are going towards slow fashion by buying less quantity of fashion products that are made by fast fashion companies, and recycling those clothes into more quality products by employing local tailors and creating new job opportunities. So of course, the packaging, we're going to use something kind of like the cassava bags as well. And of course, where we're going to focus on the Asian market, in the span of how much waste is available, which is probably kind of like somehow forever. Why we did this is to make it compostable and biodegradable. I think that's our main idea for this.
Thank you, Group 2. It's a nice touch that by also because you also plan to employ local tailors. Adding a local element to a circular economy solution is so important and preferable. Okay, so group 7.
Okay, so we are from Group 7. The idea that we want to propose is circular in fashion industry. Same with the group before, almost close. Okay, next slide. Okay, so the concept of circular fashion industry is a fast-growing movement to reuse and recycle all materials, eliminating waste and pollution, and regenerating the environment in a circular model. This reading of the fundamentals of how the industry operates in gaining traction among sustainable fashion brands. The reason is we chose this industry because the fashion industry is facing heavy pressure to reduce carbon emissions and waste, and not least from a new generation of consumers who demand more environmental accountability. This has given added impetus to the argument of circularity. And sustainability experts say the industry has only just started to explore its potential for product use and recycle. A vast quantity of product ends in a landfill but is easily resellable. So this really an advantage to use. And then improved recycling technologies are potentially transformative in the near future. The Circular Fashion Report argues for a product-centric rather than consumer-centric approach, and the goal is to make fashion traceable, transparent, and more sustainable for business, consumers, and the planet. Okay, the next will be explained by my colleagues.
So I'm gonna explain a little bit of why we should implement this fashion in the on a fashion industry, because I think the consumer might get bored over the model, and instead of throwing it, they might exchange it to the seller and get a little cheaper price, so they could stay updated to the model instead of uh, dispose the clothes that they have. The next maybe can be presented by my colleague.
Okay, I think we passed the 2 minutes mark. So I'm sorry, but we cannot continue with the group 7, but really interesting to point out that how the textile industry and the fashion industry is under big pressure to eliminate or reduce their carbon and waste. That is so true, because textile is one of the most polluting industry in the world right now. Thank you, group 7. Okay, so group 1.
Okay, so good morning everyone. So our group have come up with some solution on how to implement a circular economy. Beforehand, I'm going to show you some data or statistics that we have found regarding waste in Indonesia. Based on data, the largest waste is sampah dapur for about 22.4 million tons per year, and followed by sampah plastic for about 5.4 trillion ton per year. Furthermore, some solution for this problem will be shown in the following slides. Thank you.
Okay, so next, I would like to explain about what our suggestion. The first one is starting from ourselves, our individual is the easiest way. So it started with your food. So yeah, you just take only the portion that you can eat and finish it all. And if not finished, you can separate your organic waste into this bucket, and you can make the liquid fertilizer. So in making liquid fertilizer, you can use it to another things, and then you can bury the remaining waste food into your soil to make it fertilized. So the next one will be presented by Audrey. Please go on.
Okay, as my friend said before, we've come up with an idea for our circular economy solution. That is the food waste vending machine. A reverse vending machine where people submit their food waste, especially rent are kulit buah in Bahasa Indonesia. And they could get a voucher or a money balance to buy daily necessities at supermarket, or get an eco-item as an exchange. Why we choose this solution? Because it will encourage people, as these activities would become interesting for them. They can get free daily necessities in the supermarket. And about the eco-item itself, it's a multi-purpose liquid that is produced from the fermentation of the food waste. Here's the picture about how to make an eco-item from any waste that you could find in your area. And the usage of eco-item itself, it could work into many things such as disinfectant, air purifier, dishwashing liquid, clothes detergent, hair body care, insect repellent, and pesticide and fertilizer. Next will be explained by my friend Alexander.
So why we choose the reverse vending machine? Because everyone can take part in this movement, and it can be located anywhere in village housing apartments, basically where everyone lives. A lot of people lives there, and it will be 24 hours, so they can just put their food waste anytime. People can submit their food waste and buy them every day, or submit eco enzyme to sell and also buy them every day. So we make a simple diagram where people submit their kitchen waste. After that, to the vending machine, it generates e-money or eco enzyme as an exchange bonus. And the e-money, it's provided by supermarket or pasar rakyat to buy daily necessities. After that, people who wants to make eco enzyme can buy the food waste from the vending machine, and they can sell the eco enzyme to the vending machine. So basically, it's a win-win solution for everyone. They can make income from it. They can also reduce food waste and build a sustainable environment from it. So that's the solution from us. I hope that everyone can implement this in real life, and I hope that we can also make the reverse vending machine a real thing here. Thank you. That's all from us.
Thank you, Group 1. Such an interesting solution, yeah. Ecoenzyme. I think on ecoenzyme on a reverse vending machine. Actually, this is probably the first time that I heard about it. And super interesting. Okay, thank you. So Group 3.
Hey, good morning, Paula. Good morning, friends. Today we're going to talk about the circular economy. Next slide, please. So we choose to deal with the biggest problem here, which is food waste. In the US, an average person wastes about 283 pounds of food per year, which costs them a lot, obviously. And Indonesia, due to the inefficiency in the processing, storage, and transportation, Indonesia throw away around 23 to 48 million metric tons of food waste every year, which is enough to address the country's malnourishment problems. Next slide, please.
Okay, so we found that some people have already been creating edible food packaging and calories. So for the edible packaging, it is made up of the cassava, we believe. And for example, like in this picture, when we consume an instant meals or noodles, for example, we can also dissolve the packaging for the seasoning with the food. So it will leave little to no waste after the consumption. And for the edible calorie, a business named Bakery, they make these calories using jowar rice and wheat flour, and it's actually free from chemical. And this could be the solution for the takeout food that people, especially in this pandemic, are consuming in a large number.
Okay, so how can we implement circular economy to tackle food waste? Is by starting it from restaurants and Gojek, since people are ordering takeouts more in this pandemic. So food manufacturers could collaborate with the packaging companies to produce more sustainable packaging and cutlery, which would open up new businesses opportunity through new demands. And if I may add, customers actually can take part in this by bringing their reusable tumbler or a food container.
So who should take part in this edible packaging and cutleries is the first is the young people who are aware of sustainability practices, and the second is the people who adopt the digital technology because people that use technology a lot, you used to order food from Gojek a lot, and also the business, the people in the food industry.
Right. Thank you so much, Group 3. Unfortunately, we can't continue. That's over the 2 minutes mark. But very interesting, especially about the dissolving packaging for food. Yeah, you don't have to open a package again. Just throw it in the water and boil those pastas, right? Interesting. So Group 6, please.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'm representing Group 6. Next slide, please. So the one that we are gonna share today is actually a solution that is not yet available in Indonesia as of now, but it is something that our country can actually consider adopting, which is called plastic road. So it was actually India actually started it when the state government launched a campaign, which is the Clean Sea, which trains fishermen to collect the plastic and bring it back to shore, and they will actually feed it into the plastic shredding machine, and the shredded plastic is actually converted into materials that is used for roads surfacing. And that actually inspired a Scottish-based firm, which is MacGruber, when their CEO Toby McCartney actually went to India and actually witnessed it himself, where he saw people collecting plastic waste and melting it into potholes to repair the roads. Next slide, please. So, why the adoption of plastic roads? There are actually many benefits, such as it has better resistance and durability, because plastics actually come with various chemical and physical properties. So roads can actually be engineered to meet specific requirements such as weather and water resistance. And the use of plastic in the road construction actually reduces the amount of asphalt used and can also reduce the carbon emission in the world. And lastly, the double use of space. The hollow space in the design can actually be used to store water or the space for cables and pipes, as you can see in the picture. And next slide, please. We'll just show you a short 1-minute video on the whole process that they did in India.
Wow, amazing.
So that's all from Group 6. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Group 6. And just to share with you, plastic asphalt is already entered Indonesia. I've actually walked on one of those roads where a few kilometers were made, and part of the components are plastic waste. So exciting times in our country. Okay, so the last one, Group 5. Last but not least, please share your findings.
Okay, so maybe before we start our presentation, I want to highlight here that from our findings, from our group finding, that a total of plastic consumption in Indonesia, it reaches for about 22.5 kilograms per capita from the UNEP report, with a total of consumption is around 60% from the total packaging, of which 50% from rigid plastic consumption. So I wanted to highlight this because plastic isn't recyclable as we thought it might be, and there are lots of plastic that was sitting in the ocean. So we wanted to reduce that. And from the right side of the slide, we could know that Indonesia is facing a plastic waste emergency, that one of them is regulation without results, and Jakarta, being the giant garbage pile has a population of 10.5 million and rose up to 6,345 tons per day in 2017, and keep growing and keep growing. Okay, so hello everyone. We're from Group 5. We're going to present the holistic approach to support a circular economic chain in generating lower waste. So I'm here. I will talk briefly about our solution, which is to T to C and also T to M, which is trash to cash and also trash to ticket. So a lot of country in the globe, they had already implemented this, which one of them is China. So there should be a current strategy to increase the tourism and to maintain the tourism activity with a sustainable solution. And trash to ticket to all community transport, for example, Transjakarta, and other thing is MRT in Jakarta. We could the community members could deposit sorted waste into the system and get money for depositing garbage, and only the inorganic waste that could enter the system. And with this public-private partnership itself, from the reference of other country, which is Tasmania, from 1994 until 2001, actually they've been implementing this, and they would decrease the waste up to 40% of the plastic bottle in just 6 years. And from the environmental point of view, we could get less residual from the carbon emission for around 52%. That data was data was benchmarked with other region as well. And the second one is trash to ticket. So trash to ticket. I'm sorry. The first one is trash to cash with a money, and the second one is trash to ticket that I've mentioned before. We could get a numerous benefit. For example, we have like exchange scheme here. If you give the system to plastic plastic bottle of 1,500 milliliters, you get one sample that worth 400 rupiah. And if you want to go to the MRT, for example, the MRT costs 4,000 rupiah, so you need 10 plastic bottle to give to the system, and etc. etc. And the second solution that we want to give is green supply chain management. So actually, I've made this previously before the class, and it's actually with the help of SMEs itself, we could decrease and cut down the emission that was used in the supply chain itself. For example, if I happen to buy like a shoes, and if I happen to buy shoes that was not currently used anymore, like it's unused, I would give them to back to the SMEs, or maybe I would give them back to the company, and I could get another replacement product with a lower price, or for example, with the same price as before. And thus it would create a CSR program. And maybe for this itself, we have benchmarked with Adidas in Germany. So they've currently launched this program back in 2018, if I'm not mistaken. And actually, how to make this all happen, we have like 3 theory, which is the first one is nudge theory, because study in Copenhagen stated it reduced 46% of the littering itself. So maybe I think I would get it. So nudge theory, it's we know that like the sticker of the footprints itself. So we know that the footprints of our product that being sold in the market, how many, to whom, etc., etc. So we have that. And the second one is the creeping normality. So we know that a person tend to decline a drastic change, but not an incremental change. So we need to have an incremental change to that. And for that, we will like make a 10 years plan from now on. And the last one is a positive bandwagon effect theory. We know that people have their own roles to impact other green lifestyle. So we need to make everyone as a part of the team. And I think that's all from our group presentation. And I hereby, as a representative from Group 5, would like to thank you all. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Group 5. Very interesting solution. Trash to cash and trash to tickets. I believe that we also have like a concept of those solution in Surabaya, I think now, where people can pay their public transportation with plastic, and really nice in connecting it to several theories. The creeping normality theories. This is the first time I heard about it. It's pretty interesting. Huh? Yes. So thank you so much for all of your contribution. Like this is a very, like I said, this is an evolving and still kind of very developing and concept, the circular economy, that is improving over times, and there's always new solution, new initiative found every day. I learned something new definitely today, and I hope that my presentation helped to kind of inspire real change in the future, and that you guys enjoy it. But before we close, I did ask the IWEEK team to name one of you as the winner of this small challenge, right?
Yeah.
And once it's declared a winner, then the IWEEK team will send me your details, the name and your addresses, and I will send you those gifts for you and the members of your team.
Okay, with the next one, we've reached an agreement regarding the winner of this challenge. It's actually a hard thing to judge, because some groups perform it very well, and we have to negotiate which one is best, and we have to discuss more about who is the winner. But according to our discussion, do you hate to wait this? The best team would be the first team.
Whoa, first team!
Yeah. It's actually a very competitive one, because Group 6 and Group 5 especially is very competitive in terms of their ideas. But I think Group 5, Group 6 puts forward some ideas that have have been thought before. So that's why we try to weight it a little bit more. But other groups are very excellent in their presentations. So if you agree with that, then yeah, that's our opinion.
Yeah, yeah, sounds like a good choice. Congratulations.
Congratulations for group one.
Group one, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Congratulations, group one. You're gonna get the tote bag and the T-shirt from Plastic Bank.
Congrats for that. Okay.
All right. So thank you again, everybody. Thank you for the IWEEK team for inviting me. As you know, I was so nervous before, and yeah, thank you for trusting me in this. Congratulations for the conclusion of the IWEEK. Right, this is the last days. And thank you also for the students for your time, for listening to me for over 1 hour, and for your engagement. Very much appreciated. And I hope we all learn from each other today. Thank you.
Great. Okay. Do you have any other concluding remarks, Paola?
Concluding remarks. Well, I've said all of the thank yous, and perhaps my concluding remark is again, I just want to enforce, it all starts with ourselves, and this is not something. This is very, very possible to do. If I can reduce my waste for a whole year into a single jar, you guys can too, and can achieve so much more. If I can be a country manager of Plastic Bank right now, I'm sure one of you guys will be like the CEOs and the COOs, or like a thought leaders of the next generation of thought leaders in circular economy and beyond. Just maybe like my just the closing is, whatever that you do, find your ikigai, find the reason why you live, and make sure that whatever that you do in the future, when you graduate from the university, you don't do it just for yourself, but also for your community and the environment, and push humanity just one step forward to the best of your ability, what you think is the best for us all. So yeah, so that will be everything from me. Thank you so much for the IWEEK team. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Paola.
Thank you, Paola, for coming here. And I think please pay applause for Paola and all of you for this session. And with this session, I think this session concludes the whole series of events within the International Week. I hope you enjoy this very insightful lectures and will be beneficial for your future in the studies, or further studies, or in your future career. And to conclude, let's practice what we have learned so far, especially the most recent one, to reduce the use of plastics and wastes, so that we will live in more sustainable way and we can improve the life of the planet. I think that's all from me. Thank you for your attendance and for your attentions, and good luck for all of your careers and matters in the future. Thank you. Goodbye.